Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 12th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. Town meeting continued this week. The main topic of Monday night's discussion was Article 12 on the warrant. The article focused on the changing of several zoning bylaws and would create the Boston Providence Highway District. The article was ultimately tabled until the fall town meeting. Thursday night, town meeting wrapped up with the remaining 9 articles. Town Manager Tony Mazzucco recaps all 3 nights of this first ever virtual town meeting.
Hi folks, General Manager Tony Mazzucco coming to you with an update on town meeting. We have concluded our historic remote town meeting. Nights 2 and 3 of town meeting were largely taken up with zoning issues, many of which were sent to the planning board for further review after some healthy debate and discussion. We also passed a number of other bylaw and other changes, including a veterans tax work-off program, which allows veterans to work off a portion of their property taxes. We approved additional beer and wine licenses for a number of for the Space Center in South Norwood and for a location on Route 1, both consumption and retail. We've also instituted a small community impact fee on short-term rentals as rentals through sites like Airbnb and VRBO become more popular in the community, especially with the pandemic finally beginning to wane. And the Board of Health was able to establish a tobacco revolving fund to take fees from tobacco enforcement and put that right back into education and additional enforcement. Overall, our first historic all-remote town meeting went through over 20 articles, and we concluded it in 3 nights' time, with most of the articles passing and some of them being sent back to the planning board for further review. We're looking forward to the annual town meeting in May, and we're not sure whether or not it'll be remote yet, but I do want to thank all the town meeting members and all the staff at NCM and all the town staff and the residents and members of boards and committees who participated and made our first virtual town meeting a success.
Thanks, Tony. Just a reminder to residents that there are vacancies for the office of town meeting members. There are currently 50 3-year term vacancies, 7 2-year term vacancies, and 3 1-year term vacancies. Visit the Town and Norwood website for more information. This week, Assistant Town Planner Pat Deshane wraps up his time here in Norwood. Pat has accepted a position in a neighboring town, but before he leaves, he caught up with NCM to talk about his time here in Norwood.
Being involved with the Boston Skating Club project was definitely a highlight. Not so much just the process of going through the planning board, but being able to tour the facility in the fall was excellent. Same thing with Moderna. Obviously, from the process of site plan review to actually stepping foot in the facility to a few months down the line, here we are in the middle of the pandemic, and knowing that a company that has R&D facility within Norwood is producing the vaccine. It's kind of cool to have a very, very small part in that process. Also, with the Community Preservation Act kind of being part of the initial phase of getting that going with projects, trial by fire, learning as we go. In particular, purchasing the Saint Lot, which is about 6.8 acres behind the St. Streets in South Norwood. From the planning board process, when we dealt with a major project special permit involving auto storage there, to working out an agreement to purchase the land with CPA funds, and now we're going to be in the middle of, by we I mean Paul Halkiotis and Holly Jones will be in the middle of doing a preliminary trail design for that land. So it's kind of cool to see a project evolve like that, and it's definitely it's been a good time being here and learning from Paul and learning from all the department heads here has been incredibly rewarding. So I will definitely miss it and take what I've been able to learn here and my experiences here with me to Walpole, and luckily I'm 10 minutes down the road, so I can still keep an eye on everything going on in Norwood.
Good luck, Pat, and thank you for all you did here in the town of Norwood. We will be right back after this. Welcome back. The Norwood schools are halfway through the year, and next week is February break. On Thursday, the staff at Norwood High School was treated with a very special lunch. Let's go to NCM reporter Brian Boudreau to see what's on the menu.
Thanks, Kristen. As you can see, it's Taco Thursday here at NHS. There's teachers and staff lined up behind me to get a free taco. It's just a small appreciation before they take off for February vacation.
We have a South Shore Taco Guy here today to thank teachers and custodians and paraprofessionals and nurses, everybody who has been working so hard, secretaries, everybody who's been working so hard throughout this pandemic to keep school running and getting kids back in school. Sure, we saw his Facebook page, South Shore Taco Guy's Facebook page, where he said he will come to places with some sponsorship and celebrate the workers who have been working so hard throughout the pandemic. We thought it would be great, a little morale boost to do for our teachers.
I think it's a well-needed sort of break. It's wonderful to see my colleagues, actually, especially from other departments, and just have a quick chat, you know. Socially distanced chat, of course. That's something I think we've really missed, and is just seeing each other regularly and having a chat.
I mean, everyone is working so hard, and it's just amazing to have something to look forward to in the day. Right before break, even better.
It's been a lot of fun. You know, this is my sixth school now. I have at least 7 more on the agenda. People are coming out of the woodworks to pay for it too. Today, Bach Toyota came out and paid for this, which was fantastic. I've been posting on South Shore Taco Guy's Facebook, like, hey, I'm going to go to this town. Does anyone want to sponsor? And I'm getting inundated with calls. So people are on board. They're ready to help these teachers out. I tell you, I do a lot of work with a lot of different companies and so on. I've never seen someone so happy than the teachers. The teachers are stoked. They come out with just a smile. It doesn't take a lot to give someone a great day. And who doesn't love a taco? I mean, that's the bottom line. And again, they're the happiest people I think we've dealt with all year.
Are you into fitness, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Fitness whole taco into my mouth.
Well, as you can see, teachers and staff truly did appreciate this little treat before they went into February vacation. Reporting for Norwood News, I'm Brian Boudreau.
Thanks, Brian. I was able to taste that very special treat myself, and it was so good. So thank you to the administration for giving us that treat. Last week on Norwood News, Charlotte Walsh kicked off Project Takeout for the month of February, and NCM stepped up to the challenge and stopped into Vico Ristorante Italiano for some homemade food.
7 years ago, Maria and Vincenzo Lafredo opened Vico Restaurant in Norwood. After working as a chef for 30 years in many different restaurants, Vincenzo and Maria decided to follow their lifelong dream of opening their own restaurant. Vico has found a home in Norwood.
Norwood is a great community. Diverse, but in the meantime is very good people. Well, business has been really great since the beginning. We had some good following, and we're very happy over here. We come to stay over here a long time.
Vico specializes in Italian food, but Vincenzo likes to create and explore new recipes of his own.
Mostly is like Southern Italian food, but I like to call my food original, so I visit all the region of Italy, but mostly Southern Italian food.
Like many businesses and restaurants, Maria and Vincenzo have adapted since the COVID-19 pandemic started.
Following all the state guidelines, the tables are spaced 6 feet apart, and we're able to use all of the booths, which are popular, because we've installed dividers in between according to regulation, and we follow the capacity limits, and it's imperative that reservations are made because of the limited seating. There's a time limit of 90 minutes as the state has imposed, and it just keeps things moving if we follow all of the guidelines. We have takeout every evening. A little longer wait times on the weekend, so what we offer to our customers is to call ahead, a couple hours ahead for a specific time that they'd like to pick up the food. Otherwise, sometimes you're faced with not too much of a delay, but it could be a little bit of a delay.
Vico was able to expand their business this past year with a new service they offer.
Yes, most recently we've expanded the business to offer our guests liquor, drinks, because we've received a liquor license in late December. So now that's part of our menu is our drink specialties.
To learn more about Vico, visit their website at viconorwood.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram.
And now we're going to toss it over to Juliana O'Neill with school news.
Hi guys, I'm Juliana O'Neill, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. At the Cleveland School, Spirit Week elicited many interesting fashion trends, including soda bottle hair accessories, a Hershey's Kiss hat, cupcake hair buns, tropical attire, and all-day pajamas. The Cleveland School artists Kristen Attia and Chelsea Sardoni adorned the hallways with inspirational and eye-catching wall art in honor of Black History Month. It has provided a visual and talk-worthy learning experience. As you can see, they have a lot of talent. The fourth graders made Valentines to be distributed to local nursing homes as part of their community service projects. They hope that these cards and notes will bring happiness to our senior citizens. What a great project for the students. Norwood High School held their first service Saturday, which is a day every month where students work together to complete a community service project, and it was a success. 10 students spent the morning building a wall of love in the cafeteria, made up of hundreds of cards crafted by NHS students for the NHS staff. Every staff member had some love on the wall, and it was much appreciated and brought a smile to their faces. Another reminder that the NHS EYC Club is sponsoring a Tree Plenish fundraiser as part of Earth Week 2021 to replace the trees NHS uses for paper on a normal year. Please visit the website treeplenishevents.org/Norwood before April 1st, 2021 to buy your sapling. At the Balt School, 1st and 4th graders enjoyed a snowy recess. Let's take a quick look. At the Callahan School, students in Miss Donovan's grade 3 class earned a special treat out in the snow as a reward for completing all of their in-school work and online work. Grade 4 students recently completed their state research projects. Students chose a state and spent weeks researching climate, natural resources, map, unique features of the state, including historic landmarks. The students created slide decks and shared this with classmates. This year, they included a postcard to a family or friend. Jenna McCann chose to write to her friend Mia and shared this with her during her presentation.
Dear Mia Rocco, how have you been? I recently took a trip to New York. I saw many wonderful things. Too bad I missed you. I wish we could have met up. Let me tell you about my tour. I took a ferry ride to see the Statue of Liberty. Have you ever been there? It's located on Liberty Island in a New York harbor. It's so tall and it's turned green from the ocean. After that, I took a train ride to Niagara Falls, located over in Niagara County. The waterfall is so pretty. Did you know it's so large it spans from New York all the way into Canada? My trip was so much fun. Next time, I hope you can join me.
In honor of Black History Month, Ms. Sardoni exposed students to musicians and music from different decades, leading to rich discussions by students in the classes.
You're like across the globe from home, and you're all alone. And if I pictured myself in that situation, I would not be sane at all.
You wouldn't be what?
If like the title was true, if sometimes I feel like a mother's child alone, if those words were true and they were describing me, I would not be sane at all.
No.
As you know, due to the pandemic, many school events have been canceled, but this has not stopped the fun at the Callahan. Mr. Downs and Mrs. Brown held bingo during lunch to delight all of the students. At the Willett School, the students in Miss Corcoran and Miss Sullivan's classrooms this week were actively engaged in working on their phonemes and decodable words. Students had turns coming up to the smartboard to identify a picture, sound out the letters, and thus decode the word. One example is having the children use the word to decode and match the picture. The other approach is for the student to decode or read the word and match it with the picture. In addition to practicing words, students are starting to read decodable texts. One book this week that has been used with students is entitled I Did It. In other news, students in Mrs. Wilson's and Mrs. Doherty's class were treated to a Valentine's Day treat by an ice cream truck. Lucky them! Last week, we shared some interesting projects created in Miss Serodatis' 7th grade computer class. Norwood is in its 2nd year of Project Lead the Way, a program that allows students to explore the fundamentals of technology and how things around us really work. Let's take a look at some of these homemade projects.
This is my project. I made a revolving door. The input is the A and B button, and the output is the servo.
The students at the Little Mustangs Preschool Academy have been celebrating Valentine's Day all week with a focus on friendship and kindness. From making a kindness chain to making Valentines for friends and family, the LMPA preschoolers are spreading their sunshine all over the town of Norwood. Chinese New Year begins on February 12th, and the children have been making lanterns and learning about the year of the ox. Happy Valentine's Day and Happy Lunar New Year. Well, that's it for the school news. There's something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's go to Brian Dunn for the latest in winter sports news.
Hello and welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn, and the winter season is wrapping up despite a pandemic and a lot of rescheduling, so the athletes finished strong. Let's take a look inside the final weeks of the Mustang season here. February 4 was a busy day in Mustang country as both JV and varsity girls hoop was in action, and over at the Skating Club of Boston, boys hockey took on Westwood in a makeup game. Both hoops games resulted in wins for the Mustangs, and the boys hockey teams narrow out a victory against the Wolverines 2-1, backed by a strong performance in net from senior Brendan Bartuka. The gymnastics seniors were honored for their dedication to the program Friday night in their senior meet against Mads. The Mustangs, in an incredible effort, pulled out the narrowest of victories with a 138.6 to 138.25 victory. Congratulations to all the seniors. In what was claimed as the best meet of the season, swim and dive competed virtually against Dover Sherborne. Although the score may not have been in favor of the Mustangs, the swimmers competed extremely hard, in which Meg Sopel finished first in the 50 freestyle and Maddie O'Keefe took first in the 100 backstroke. Jake Wilkinson also claimed first in the 100 breaststroke for the boys. The boys hoops team had their turn against the Clockers Friday and made good on their mission. Freshmen started off with a 54-48 win. JV up next with a great showing from Dylan Hamway, as he has all season, lights it up beyond the arc, and the KV team wins 49-33.
Here's Dylan Hamway. Oh, he likes that spot. Oh! His teammate stood up for that three before it was even halfway in the air.
Varsity would conclude the triple header with an excellent up and down performance, defeating the Akron Clockers 53-39. Back to the Skating Club of Boston we go, where it was a double-header hockey action for both girls and boys varsity teams. The girls took the ice first against Dedham. Norwood took an early lead off the stick of Maeve Glavin short side, but Dedham would eventually tie it. Near the end of the first, Marissa Cataldo strikes on a rebound chance to put the Mustangs ahead, but a tying goal just as the first half expires will give Dedham the edge they needed to continue on for two more and eventually seal the victory 4-2. A special day for the boys team as 11 seniors were recognized for all their hard work throughout the year. With parents in attendance, the boys did not disappoint as a flurry of goals coming off a handful of sticks, including this guy, Jake Allen. His first career goal couldn't have come at a better time, and Dad's not leaving without that game puck. Awesome moment for the Allen family there. Tommy Dooley, Miles Kidd, and Kevin Broderick joined the fray as the Mustangs beat Action 9-2 at the Skating Club of Boston. On to Monday, as it served as a makeup week for a lot of teams, girls ice hockey gets their matchup against Medway. First time in a Mustang uniform, Molly Federico finds the back of the net, and that was all for Norwood needed to seal the 1-0 shutout W. Some makeup contests took place Tuesday as freshman and JV boys hoop took on the Westwood Wolverines. The freshman team fell to Westwood and the JV team wraps up their season and takes care of business 47-37. Our final game of the week was the makeup date for the girls ice hockey versus Westwood matchup. It was a great effort for Norwood, but in the end, Westwood was just a few strides ahead as the home ice finale ends in defeat for Norwood by way of 3-0. And that's going to do it for my sports recap this week. What a truly incredible season this was on so many levels. Thank you to all the athletes who made it such an enjoyable experience and for putting in the work despite all the challenges. That being said, we quickly move into the Fall 2 season after the break. So enjoy the time off, regroup, and stay tuned next week as we'll talk to some folks to get a preview into what is now a totally new, never-before season of Fall 2. I'll talk to you next week. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. In government, the Middle School Building Committee met Monday night with Compass Project Management. Brian Jarvis and Chin Lin of Compass presented to the committee the steps that have been taken thus far in the new middle school process. Then Justin Tebow presented the preliminary design program report. The report covered educational programming, the initial space summary, evaluation of existing conditions, and site development requirements. The MSBC will meet again next month. Tuesday night, due to the inclement weather, the Board of Selectmen met virtually. Chief Maurice and Chief Brooks both presented their monthly reports to the board. Both chiefs discussed the impact that the closing of Norwood Hospital has had on their departments. Following the monthly reports, the board went through a number of items in new business, including a request by the Cultural Council to increase the size of their board. The next Selectmen's meeting will be Tuesday, the 23rd. The Norwood Trails Committee met this week and discussed a number of different trail walks completed over the last month, including an exploratory trail walk at the end of Meadow Street along the Neponset River, Route 95, and the border of the airport, and a trail off of University Ave. Both have potential to be great trails, but need some development. The group also reviewed the recent Pets on the Trail walk at Father Max. The group then discussed their February walk along the trail behind Ellis Playground on February 21st at 11 a.m. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for March 9th. The Library Board of Trustees met Tuesday night with a number of agenda items. With new library director Clayton Sheaver in charge, the board is working on a decision to eliminate the noisy teens in the library agenda item as an effort to remove a bad stigma attached to the agenda proceedings.
Well, I just had a question. I was approached by Kate Teague after the last meeting, wondering, trying to understand, and I'm trying to understand why this has been part of the agenda for so long. And it was actually a request if we could remove it until it becomes an issue that warrants discussion again. She felt that it was casting a negative light on teens and youth in the library, and that's not a light we wish to cast. We want to make sure that teens are always welcome. So I'm interested if there's any background why this has been an agenda item, and if maybe we can remove it from future agendas.
A main agenda item included the budget, so the board invited former library director Charlotte Kennelly. Some budget cuts could be on the horizon, as Kennelly warned that there were areas the library could anticipate to cut back on. Other items included discussion of the hiring of new employees and general discussion of the director changeover. The Board of Trustees will meet again in March. The Airport Commission met Wednesday afternoon with a few new items of new business. Flight Level presented their concept plan for the installation of a self-serving fuel cabinet on DC-3 apron and provided an update on the hangar construction project. The Airport Commission will meet again next month. The school committee met on Wednesday night. Segal Reese presented her biweekly report to the board. She noted that the numbers are continuing to decline in the schools and the town. Aubrey Seal, Lori Semino, and Ryan Quigley presented their data findings from the 2018 Metro West Adolescent Health Survey. The survey connected the importance of the data in informing district and town initiatives to support the health and well-being of Norwood. Dr. Thompson updated the committee on the updated reopening plans and clarified some information about the process moving forward.
Reopen schools is not necessarily one where all students are in person 5 days a week. Many students are likely to shift to a hybrid schedule with a mix of online and in-person learning, as millions of kids have so far. The arrangement is often necessary to keep class sizes small enough to meet social distancing requirements to prevent the coronavirus's spread. Other students could opt to stay virtual full-time if their families had a choice. That sounds very similar to what we are doing. I think it's important that the community realize that when the president and the governor are talking about in-person school, the people they're talking about communities that are still in remote learning for the majority of their students. Boston, Worcester, and I'm not going to comment on why those districts are still there. I am not dealing with their parameters. They are not talking about Norwood. Okay, Norwood is in a hybrid. We looked at the full in-person model. Originally, when we looked at that, when you read through after the first paragraph, after the headlines, when you talk, the CDC came out saying, was it 3 days ago, that that teachers could go back without being vaccinated. If you read the next paragraph, it was 6 feet, wearing masks, washing hands, social distancing, small classes. Okay, it is exactly the things that Norwood has been doing since the beginning. So these are conversations about districts that are not doing what we are doing. So I need to be clear on that.
Dr. Thompson and Teresa Stewart updated the board on the middle school building committee's progress and announced there will be a second forum open to the community on Thursday, March 18th. Teresa Stewart wrapped up the meeting by reviewing the board's long-term agenda. The school committee will meet again in 2 weeks. The CPC met on Wednesday night and discussed the outcome of their articles that were voted on at town meeting this past week.
So all the 5 projects got approved. So it's just to discuss next steps. What happens now is the accounts for each project are set up by the finance department at the town hall. And then those, that I guess more or less, there'll be the money will be available. And if the next step is if they have to go out to bid, or that's up to the applicant to contact procurement at town hall to get your project moving. Once you can start discussion now. I mean, it's just a matter of counting thing as far as flipping the starting the new accounts for the projects. But
the board talked about future projects they are working on and assigned committee members to each project. It was Pat Deschain's last meeting with the CPC, and everyone on the committee thanked him and wished him well on his new venture. The CPC will meet again on March 10th. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. This past year, Impact Norwood has offered many different resources on how to cope with anxiety during these difficult times. Program Director Aubrey Seal has more about a special event they will be hosting on Monday.
Hi everyone. At Impact Norwood, we know that people are continuing to struggle with anxiety and overwhelming feelings as we are still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to do what we can to help residents cope in healthy ways, so coming up this Monday, February 15th, we are welcoming Shine Bright workshops. Shine Bright's mission is to share wisdom and teachings of how to create a more mindful, peaceful, and stress-free lifestyle for both children and adults. In the workshop on Monday, participants will learn how to manage anxiety around the things we can and can't control. Our speakers, Christine and Jane, will provide participants with tangible tools they can use anywhere, at home, driving, in the store, at work, anywhere. Participants will leave knowing they are not alone in their anxiety and will have strategies to manage it. To register, visit impactshinebright.eventbrite.com.
Thanks, Aubrey. On Saturday, dog lovers explored the 1-mile trail from Father Mac's playground to the Willet. The goal of this socially distanced walk was to remind neighbors that our trails are available for all dogs on leashes. Joe Grilly of the Trails Committee joined walkers to share some insight on trail etiquette.
You know, we want to make sure that the thing that people remember about dog owners on the trail is not so much the poop, but you know, they had a great experience and I saw 3 dogs and they were playing together or whatever. So we want it to be a positive experience not only for you as the dog owners and for the dogs, of course, but also for everybody else who's using the trails.
These walkers hope that with enough support from the community, Norwood's 4-legged friends can soon have a park of their own. You can help achieve this goal by cleaning up after your pet and by keeping that furry friend on a leash at all times. For more information, check out the Residents for Norwood Dog Park Facebook page. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day.